1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad to have you, and if you're a returning subscriber or viewer, it's so nice to see you again. Today I'm going to talk to you about 4 things that every goalkeeper needs to stop worrying about. Now, as I've shared before, to me, goalkeeping is about 70% mental, 25% physical, and about 5% uniqueness. That's how you get a complete goalkeeper. Now we'll work our way back up. When I'm talking about uniqueness, I'm simply referring to what makes you stand out as a goalkeeper. People like Ederson stand out for their distribution, while keepers like Neuer stand out for just being an absolute crazy person, but a great shot stopper. That physical piece refers to all the physical aspects that's required to be a goalkeeper. Whether it be explosiveness, whether it be agility, whether it be the way you dive, whether it be speed, you name it. That's all encompassed in that physical component. But yes, neither one of those two are as important, at least to me, as the mental piece. And that's why I train all of my goalkeepers to be mentally strong and resilient, so that no matter what happens, even if your team loses 5-0, 7-0, doesn't matter the result, right? You still keep that stone cold look on your face and you don't let it bother you, especially not in the middle of the game, because you never know, right? Crazy comebacks have happened before. But with all that being said, these 4 things that I'm about to share with you continue to touch on that mentality piece, because it's so important for goalkeeping. The first thing you need to stop worrying about is clean sheets. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, and I know that goalkeepers pride themselves based on the amount of clean sheets that they can keep. But again, you are not in control of whether or not you don't concede a goal. The only thing you are in control of is your actions. And in the famous words of Prophet Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat,
focus on your actions, not the outcome. It is all you can control.
That's correct. You have to focus on your actions, not the outcome. Because the only thing you can do is, if a shot's taken at you, all you can do is just dive. Dive to the best of your ability, explode as much as you can, get your hands out, whatever the case might be, right? If the shot was well taken and you push yourself to the max, maybe you might get a fingertip on it and it hits the crossbar, or it hits the post and then gets out. But sometimes, unfortunately, when the shot's taken, it just goes right through and goes in the back of the net. It is what it is. You cannot control that, okay? The only thing you can do is push yourself. Now, what you don't want to do is just stand flat-footed and not make an effort to go for the ball. At that point, it's that laziness, that lack of effort, that lack of energy that will actually cost you that clean sheet. So there are some times where it's completely up to you, and because of your non-action, you concede a goal. But there are other times when, let's just be honest for a second, the other team is just much better, and they just have better players, they just have a better striker, and he or she is just very, very clinical. And it is what it is. Again, you are not in control of that. So please don't make that mistake of just focusing so much on clean sheets. If your actions are correct, if your effort, your energy level, your speed, your dedication, all those things, if you push yourself and you take the right action, the outcome and the result will follow. The second thing that goalkeepers need to stop worrying about is mistakes. Now, I'm gonna say this very clearly. You are not perfect. I am not perfect. Nobody is perfect, okay? We're all flawed human beings. No matter how much some people think they're perfect or flawless, they can never make mistakes or whatever, it's impossible. Sometimes we think we're right, sometimes we think we have the right answer, but it turns out we don't. And that's just part of life, okay? Mistakes are a part of life, and especially for goalkeeping, if you don't make mistakes, especially at practice, you're going to make them in a game, and that's when it's even worse. So when you make mistakes, whether it be at practice or even in a game, you have to look at your mistakes as an opportunity for you to learn and be better. Maybe you didn't get your angles right. Maybe you didn't push as much as you should have pushed. Maybe you fumbled the ball and the striker went in and tapped it in. Whatever the case might be, mistakes are a part of the game. You cannot sit there and try to analyze every little thing that you're doing wrong or that you're doing right in search of that perfection, that perfect save, that perfect movement, that perfect dive, that picture perfect, upper 90, two hands on the ball kind of a save. It may happen once in a blue moon, but if you think that that's going to be your every single day, unfortunately, you're wrong. Again, mistakes are a part of the game. You have to use them to your advantage. You have to learn from them in order to improve and be the best version of yourself. The third thing that goalkeepers need to stop worrying about is perfection. Some goalkeepers will sit around and think, hey, because I didn't get a shot at me, or because I didn't make that picture perfect, again, like upper 90 save, or because I didn't push the ball far enough, whatever the case might be, they might think that because of those small mistakes or those small actions that they took, that all of a sudden the whole game is ruined. Oh man, I didn't have my best performance. Oh, you know what? I conceded a goal. I didn't have my best performance. This game was useless, or whatever the case might be, right? Seeking perfection is not a problem. In fact, it's a good thing. Like, you should seek to be the best version of yourself, especially as a keeper, every single game. However, just because something happens doesn't mean that all of a sudden the whole game should be thrown away. There's going to be games when your team is under so much pressure that they're going to have to rely on you, and you're going to play the absolute best game of your life, right? 20 shots taken at you, 20 saves, or something crazy like that. Every keeper goes through that. But then there's going to be games where your team is dominating the whole game, can't score for some reason. The other team gets one breakaway, one shot at you, goal. And that's the whole game.
Are you serious?
And then you start to wonder, oh my gosh, did I make the mistake? Is it my fault? Blah, 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 blah. Again, you are not in control of situations, circumstances, or even the outcome. The only thing you can do in order to combat perfection is to focus on the basics. Communication with your defenders, organizing your back line, talking to your midfield, making sure that they're tracking runners, movement, making sure you're ready for saves, focus, and knowing what's happening around you, and all of the above, right? The only thing you can do is just focus on the basics and try your absolute best to just keep the ball out of the net. Your coach, your teammates are not going to be mad at you if you save the ball with your shoulder. They're not going to be mad at you if you save the ball with your head, with your feet, with your butt, with anything. As long as the ball is out of the net and your team is able to either maintain the lead, not concede, whatever the case might be, as long as the ball is kept out of the net, you've done your job as a keeper. Now, in hindsight, you might be able to go back and be like, you know what, maybe I should have moved this way, or maybe I should have dove this way, or maybe I should have done this better. But you do that in hindsight after the game is over, not in the midst of the game. Enough said. And then the last thing that every goalkeeper needs to stop worrying about is playing like blank. Now, I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. Part of goalkeeping is finding what makes you stand out, that 5% piece, that uniqueness. Again, every goalkeeper has something that nobody else does, nobody else has. So when I hear keepers say things like, well, I want to be just like Thibaut Courtois, or I want to play just like Ederson, or I want to be just like Alisson Becker, or I want to be just like Edouard Mendy, or I want to be just like so-and-so, it's as if you're taking a piece of you away. You're only operating in that 95%. And let me tell you, okay? Even if you have the same height as Courtois, the same build as him, the same explosiveness as he does, he is his own person. You are your own person. Now, as crazy as it might sound, especially when you try to compare yourself or you try to play with goalkeepers that are playing, again, at the highest level, you have something that they don't have.
What?
I'll give my own example. Alisson Becker is my favorite goalkeeper. By far, every time I would go to practice and do my things, I would always be like, he is somebody that I look up to and somebody that I want to play like. However, I know that I have to rely on my strengths. Yeah, I'll be blunt. My strength is being a nerd. I'm an IT subject matter expert, cybersecurity specifically. And so I always thought using my IT background and data analytics and that sort of thing, using that knowledge in order to improve my goalkeeping skills is what made me better. Now, for those of you who haven't seen, I did post my 5-year transformation journey from where I was to how I got to become a better goalkeeper. It's on the channel. I'll link it in the description. But during that whole journey, one thing that I learned was that by leaning on my IT skills in order to improve my goalkeeping skills, that I was able to improve a lot faster. With every time I recorded a session and then I went back and I looked at it the same way I would analyze a cybersecurity problem or a risk or something like that, it really helped me improve and develop my game a lot faster than I would if I was just training all the time without no end in sight. Now, Allison Becker, great guy, great person, great goalkeeper. Unless I'm wrong, and if I am, please Allison or somebody who knows him, please correct me and I'll eat humble pie. But as far as I know, Allison Becker does not have a cybersecurity background, right? So that is an area where I stand out and he doesn't. Like, this is my uniqueness. Your uniqueness might be your creativity. Your uniqueness might be your explosiveness. Your uniqueness might be your distribution. Your uniqueness might be all these different things, but whatever it ends up being, you have to know exactly what makes you stand out and you have to lean on that. You cannot play like somebody else. You cannot be somebody else. You can only be yourself. There's this quote that I love to say to every keeper that I coach. You were born an original, don't die a copy.
Oh.
You are an original goalkeeper. Even though you may not have all the skills that you need in order to play at the highest level yet, one day you'll get there. And when you get there, you're gonna stand out in your own unique way. So again, I say all this not to say that you cannot use other goalkeepers, other professional goalkeepers as role models that you look up to and that you want to play like, but I'm saying that don't focus so much on just being exactly like they are and lose that piece, that 5% piece that makes you who you are. Well, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. I greatly appreciate it. If you do have any comments, questions, or anything like that, feel free to drop them in the comment section. I'll be sure to take a look at it. If there is a particular topic you want me to talk about, please do drop it in the comment section. But outside of that, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless.